Hey guys, I'm IzDaisho and I'm here bringing you a traditional Strixhaven draft. We are going to be playing Magic today. I've been doing a lot of this format. I've probably about 20 to 30 drafts in, so I'm starting to get a little bit more comfortable. I have not done Strixhaven Stadium yet. I don't think it's going to be what I'm doing today, but this pack is actually terrible. There are very few playable cards in here. I think I'm going to go with Opt. I like blue in this format. I like starting with just a flexible blue card. I could also just grab Intro to Annihilation because the power level of the cards in this pack is so low. I don't mind an Elemental Masterpiece, Eureka Moment, but I don't feel like it's worth just like completely jumping into those colors yet. Pilgrim of the Ages is fine too. You know what? I'm just going to take the Intro to Annihilation. Just pretend that I didn't have a first pick, and that's what I start with. Okay, so following the first pack, I have a fantastic pack. I mean, my opponent clearly opened a busted rare or mythic rare because they passed me Cultivate and Rutha. Cultivate is great, but I'm not really going to go ahead and pass a Rutha. For those of you who aren't familiar, you basically get to copy every one of your spells. It costs a little bit of mana to do so, but it ends up being amazing. Other playables to think about: Study Break, Professor of Zoomancy, Expressive Iteration is really good. If that tables, then I know that blue-red is absolutely wide open, but I'm not really expecting that to happen. So I bet you didn't realize that Intro to Annihilation was actually just a standard card in every single pack in this format. No. Okay, so definitely some playables here, but nothing screaming that I either have to continue on my path or change directions. Scurried Colony is probably the best card in the pack. The red cards and the blue card are all medium. I think I'm just going to go ahead and grab the blue-red land. I could just take a Pigment Storm, which is most likely going to make my deck the first copy, almost always does. But I think that just getting myself better mana will allow me to splash if I do end up finding the need to. Okay, so kind of not exactly what I was thinking, but another good green card. After the last pack had Scurried Colony in it as the best card. I think I'm going to take the green card, and I could probably splash the Rutha if I really end up wanting to. But the three best cards in this pack, in my mind, are green. Silvercold Pledge Mage. Eager first year is nice for the Silvercold Drafter. I better start. Everybody in this pack is probably mad at me. Okay. This is actually an amazing pack for Teamer. Quandrix Pledge Mage, Leyline Invocation, Pigment Storm, Dust Speaker, Expressive Iteration, Frost Trickster, Pest Summoning, Quandrix Campus, Fuming Effigy, basically, and Battles here. I mean, everything is playable. Probably just going to go Frost Trickster as one that is going to make my deck no matter what. Expressive Iteration is nice, but if I'm green, base green, I'm probably not going to play it. If I would have to be like a really big mess of Teamer to want to play it. Pledge Mage and Pest Summoning are probably both similar power level, but I'm just going to go ahead and grab Frost Trickster. I know it'll be good in my deck. And now I'm just getting past ridiculous cards. I mean, I first picked a freaking Intro to Annihilation. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 cards that are three cards that are much better than it in this pack. So probably Mage Duel over Maelstrom Muse and Elemental Summoning. I love both of these cards, but Mage Duel is one that is really hard to replace in Quandrix, even if you are splashing for red. So I'm just going to stay the course and go with that. All right. I don't love grabbing an Aether Helix here, but we're already late in the pack, so there's still cards in my color are flowing. I mean, there's a 5-mana 5/4. It's not really anything more than that in this deck, and a Waterfall Aerialist, but Aether Helix is fine. This one is kind of a miss, though. I'm going to go ahead and grab the Biblioplex Assistant for sideboard. Eager first year coming around late for somebody is kind of good for me. Black-white are the two colors that I'm pretty sure I'm not playing in this deck, so it's nice that I'm shipping that signal along to the person next to me, so they know that lane is open. So I could go with Leyline Invocation or Elemental Masterpiece for some more top end, but those are usually pretty easy to find. I think I'm just going to grab Eureka Moment. I don't have really any card advantage yet, so Professor of Zoomancy coming around this late is insane. This card is really just, it does everything you want to stop the aggressive decks, and it also just provides you with a threat. I'm just buried in in Teamer cards. Scurried Colony or Needlethorn Drake. Oh man, I'm gonna go with the Colony here, but that is exactly what you want to see. So now I have two really premier 2-drops. You want 5 or 6 premier 2-drops in any color combination in this format, because it is very snowbally. If you fall behind early, then you're just going to get completely swallowed up. So you definitely don't want to just play a deck without 2-drops. There really is one main aggressive deck, or I guess really two. Lorehold and Silverquill are both pretty aggressive, but if you fall too far behind, even against another Quandrix deck, then they're just going to be able to be doing a lot more powerful things before you, and you're going to be on the back foot, and it's going to be a hard game to win. So right now I don't have much Lesson Learn. I am playing a traditional draft, so grabbing a Tangle Trap is important here. Leyline Invocation is nice. Remember, I'm not really in red at this point. I mean, remember when I said that the late game stuff isn't usually that hard to come by? Grabbed 2 in the last 2 picks of that pack. That was awesome. Okay. Wow. Okay, so I don't have much Lesson Learned in this pack yet, or in this deck yet, but I am going to grab, or I could grab Environmental Sciences here. I mean, Emergent Sequence, Burying Books are both really premier cards. I think that I'll probably table one of these 2-drops. I'm almost positive I'll table one of these 2-drops or the Wormhole Serpent or something. I think I'm going to go ahead and grab Burying Books over Emergent Sequence. Emergent Sequence is amazing, and it does get better in multiples, but Burying Books is just kind of too good to really pass. When I first saw that card, I was thinking that it was good, but when you adapt it to the format and you recognize how many fractals there are running around, it becomes better. And a lot of people play counters. I mean, people don't usually play counters on, like, the make counters cards are not really that good. But, oh my god. Now I have to decide between Emergent Sequence and Mage Duel. There's also Witherbloom Pledge Mage and Master Symmetrist. Even Eureka Moment Curate, I would be very happy to play. Opt, I would be very happy to play in this deck. Again, I think that the removal aspect is really hard to replace in this deck, so it's worth taking that over pretty much anything else. There's a few ramp cards that are pretty decent. There's 2-drops that are decent, so it's not like Emergent Sequence is something that that is irreplaceable in this deck, but I think that is the case for Mage Duel. So, I mean, we still, by the way, do not have to be red. It's looking like I'll be able to easily fill out a very nice green-blue deck, but just the fact that I already picked up the land, I have the Masterpiece, and I have the Rutha, makes it seem like that's how the direction I'll be going in. So, surprisingly, I am seeing Lash of Malice Rise of X this year, even though I really thought that I passed a very good Silverquill deck. I'm going to go ahead and just grab the... I mean, there's also Curate, which is probably worth considering with how little Lesson Learn I have, but it's not too late in the draft to start building a little package of Lesson Learn, so fine with that. Arcane Subtraction, Eureka Moment. I'll grab a second Eureka Moment. I think that I'll be able to pick up an Arcane Subtraction late, and I don't really want one, or want more than one. Honestly, I don't really want one, but it would be fine to play one. I'm happy to grab another Professor of Zoomancy. I mean, it's very, very nice to pick it up here. Makes me wish I did grab a second Emergent Sequence, because now I'm going 2 to 4. With my last 2 picks, I picked two more 4-drops up, so I'm definitely starting to weigh my curve a little bit higher. So I am hoping one of those emergent sequences tables. I know that's not a reasonable thing for me to ask, but it's looking like this deck is, or this draft is really, really weighted towards Teamer colors being the best. So I don't think I need a second Ether Helix. I don't really need a Leyline Invocation. To me, the decision is between Containment Breach and Negate. I'm going to grab Negate. It's a little bit rare. I mean, I guess they're both uncommon. I don't know the difference in uncommon masterpiece or whatever these are called versus regular uncommons. But there's also not the fact that I don't have much learn. I only have 1 learn card right now, so it's not like that getting the removal is going to be so good. Right, Cram Session, Needlethorn Drake. I think I like Needlethorn Drake a little bit better. Continuing on with the same theme that I'm really not going to be playing a heavy learn lesson deck. Late in pack 2 is pretty late to start grabbing both learn cards and lessons. So, I mean, it would be fine to grab a Practical Research. I'm not really into this card. I tried it at the beginning of the format and did not have success with it. I don't need another Intro to Annihilation, and I'm still short of that number. Remember, I mentioned I wanted like 5 to 6 impactful 2-drops. It's a little bit risky taking the Biomathematician over the Needlethorn Drake here, but I want to do it because I think that one of these emergent sequences is going to come back to me. I might be wrong, but I'm hoping that it does, and then Biomathematician goes from a pretty medium card against aggressive decks to just an unstoppable monster. Okay. I'm not going to play the 3rd Eureka Moment, so I'll grab a Curate, and I'm probably not going to play that either. And I did not table the emergent sequences, which is fine. I didn't really expect to. And it's not like I was really relying on that Needlethorn Drake. I think that my deck's going to be fine without it. None of these cards are actually useful. Containment Breach coming around is really nice. This card comes around way later than I think it should. This is just a rare that doesn't do anything, right? Yeah. Okay. Did not open a good pack for me. There's a Fractal Summoning and a Witherbloom Pledge Mage. I think I'm just going to go Pledge Mage here. I wouldn't mind playing a Fractal Summoning in this deck, but I don't think I really need the late game, and I'd rather just the big beefy 5-drop that will completely stabilize the game for me. I mean, I wasn't really playing that many counters or anything like that, but I mean, Counterspell is absurd for a reason. I wouldn't mind playing Professor of Zoomancy, but it's not 100% necessary in this deck. I might cut the Negate. I definitely have some room to cut some of these cards. With the power level that I'm at, I'm probably not going to go with the Red Splash unless I do get some more easy access to splashing. But right now, I just don't need the splash, and I haven't seen... I think I saw one Quandrix Campus, but I don't know if I've seen any Prismari Campuses. Okay. Dragon's Guard Elite is really good. So is Elemental Summoning, but the Elite is going to be what I'm doing here. I want more good 2-drops, and this definitely makes the cut. I have plenty of non-creatures. I'm up to 12, so it'll get to see some action. I'm probably not going to end up playing all 12, but it's also just amazing with a card like Mage Duel. I don't think Weather the Storm is where I want to be. I didn't pick up that many Magecraft cards, though I am about to grab a second Witherbloom Pledge Mage. Probably would play 2 in this deck. Alright, so do I just want to grab the Fractal Summoning for my 1 pop quiz, or do I want to take a 3rd Scurrid Colony, or I'm going to take a Frost Trickster. I think that, you know what, I don't need any more playables for this deck. It's going to be fine. I'll grab the Fractal Summoning. Okay. Not really much for me here, but some interest is definitely nice. And it looks like I made the right decision. I get the Trickster anyway. And here's another Biomathematician if I want it, or another Aether Helix. I don't think that I really want to be playing 2 Biomathematicians. I definitely don't need a third Eureka Moment. I guess I could take the strategic planning, but I think I'm going to go ahead and grab the Aether Helix. And in a grindy matchup, it's a nice one to be able to side into. Cleric, Druid, Shaman, Warlock, Wizard, Squirrel, Druid, Drake. Sure. We could grab this for the sideboard. Again, grindy matchups, it would make sense for me to play just like a multi-draw spell. So let's see what this deck is looking like. So yeah, I do think I'm going to side out of the red. Just have enough good stuff to do without it, I think. Although maybe I will be a little bit light on top end if I don't grab another Leyline Invocation or something like that. But with the 2 Pledge Mages, the 3/4 drop creatures, a couple of evase, like these Tricksters, you know, I mean, I thought that this deck was going incredibly well, and in the end I think it's going fine, but I guess I really don't I don't see it as an overly amazing deck. I will grab the Practical Research in case I want to splash. I mean, technically you could splash off of like Emergent Sequence, but that is some risky stuff. I don't think that I want to actually play the Curate. That's my second one in there. Mentor's Guidance isn't bad if I do want to cut something. Honestly, no, I guess it's not better than Pop Quiz. Pop Quiz is really nice with the 2 options that I have. It's not like where you want to be in this format. You want to have a lot of Lesson Learn, but just being able to choose between big creature or removal is actually really nice. So in the end, I think that this deck is probably like a 6 or 7 out of 10, but it's nothing crazy impressive. Which is sad, because after that first pack, I thought I was really building an unbelievable Quandrix deck. I do think that I ended up finding the right deck for my seat, but maybe some of the right cards didn't come around, or I mean, I really wanted 2 Emergent Sequences. I think that would have been nicer, and I never ended up getting another Leyline Invocation or anything like that. So, I mean, I could play the Rutha, the Practical Research, the Elemental Masterpiece on the splash, cut medium cards like Biomathematician, maybe cut Negate now that I have Counterspell, one of the Frost Tricksters, something like that. Build a really nice deck, but I think I would rather just have consistent mana and play it this way. But I definitely have that option if I go to game 2. I could also put in like a Curate to help me find my lands. And if I'm also playing 3 red sources, which I probably would play, then it's not as risky to get a red source with Emergent Sequence, because even if they do kill it, then you still have another Mountain in your deck and another Snarl. So, okay, cool. Yeah, let's jump into the games. Pay no attention to the fact that it is clearly not the same day that I recorded the draft on. Okay, this is kind of a bad hand, but I can cast my 2 drops, and this is one of the benefits of just making it a 2-color deck, is that I don't have, it's not like I have 3 colors that I need to worry about finding. I just have one, I just have blue, and I have plenty of sources of blue in this deck, so hopefully we'll get there. Would have been really nice to hit like an Emergent Sequence last turn. Going forward, it won't be that nice because it's just going to give me a 2-1. But they clearly don't want to trade here, or maybe they just don't want to trade damage. I don't know. but I think that's fine with me. Looks like we're both stuck on 2 lands. And I'll play another 2-drop. Hey! That's a great one. Alright. I suppose, knowing that I have Frost Trickster, I shouldn't have attacked with the other Scurried Colony, but yeah, it's probably a mistake. Alright, so probably not going to get to counterspell something until the very late game here, but I really like just the fact that I'm going to be able to put a lot of beef on the board if I just hit one more land drop here. If I don't hit the land drop, there's plenty of spells that I can cast for 3 or less now that I have access to both colors, so I think that I'm probably going to hit a pretty nice draw here. Okay. So, yeah, let's start with a pop quiz here with the land drop, which is really great. Fractal Summoning or Intro to Annihilation or even Containment Breach, probably not the latter. I'll go with Fractal Summoning here. They're playing blue-red, so it's less likely that they just have a giant creature that they want to deal with. That I'll have to deal with, so I'd rather just have this for the later game. Obviously, I'm not casting it anytime soon, but eventually it'll get in there. So I didn't... It's questionable whether I should have just attacked into this. I think the fact that I didn't want to trade damage was really what was, or trade 2 for 3 damage was what I was thinking about, but I probably should have just attacked. They probably weren't going to block. Here I am going to attack with both. I'll either trade with these, which is fine with me, plus now I have, or get into damage, plus now I have the Professor to actually hold that thing off. If they do want to attack. If they do play a spell and want to attack. But the fact that their spell was probably going to kill my creature anyway probably means that I shouldn't have done that. So this comes in tapped. The land that you get comes in tapped. So if it didn't, then maybe I would try playing Emergent Sequence, holding up Counterspell. If I do draw an island, there's a good chance that I go with that. Just because we're getting to the critical point of the game where they're going to be able to play better creatures. Or better spells. They can hit their 5th land soon. Okay, so I could either play Professor or a Needlethorn Drake plus Emergent Sequence. I'm probably just going to go the latter here. It sucks that I don't get that I get a 1/1 instead of a 2/2, but on this kind of board, it probably wasn't going to see much action. Yeah, I don't really see much reason not to trade the Frost Tricksters. Oh, I guess they don't want to trade the Frost Tricksters. I thought that they would just take the trade there, but that's fine. Okay, so they finally hit a pop quiz. That's really going to jumpstart them now that they're going to have treasure access. And with every spell they play, plus they drew a card, and I don't know, maybe they have like environmental sciences or something they can go get from the graveyard or from their sideboard. So right now they're still at a pretty high enough life total. Let's see, what do they have in the graveyard? They just have the Historian and the Pop Quiz for now, so I don't have to worry about the Pillar Drop Warden just yet. Okay, so they're not casting the Sciences, which is kind of an interesting play. I think I'm just going to go and make a pretty decent-sized attack here with all my 2-power stuff. If they have some sort of combat trick or whatever. Oh, interesting that they traded these two. I guess I'm relatively close to... Okay, so they'd rather trade for the flyer. Yeah, I was going to say I am relatively close to making this a 4/4, but that's fine with me. So I could play Professor and hold up Counterspell here. I think that's what I'm going to do. Considering they didn't play the Sciences last turn, I think I would rather... I can play Counterspell. Yeah, I just can't play it on anything. I'd rather hold it up because maybe they want to like play a big spell this turn. No, it's just a Bondrix Pledge Mage. That's fine. I mean, it's not going to be fun for me, but I think it's not worth countering. Well, maybe it was. It's already a 3/3, and it's only going to get bigger. Eureka Moment's a nice draw here. So I've got 5, 6 lands. So if I do hit 2 lands off the Eureka Moment, then Scurry Colony grows. But maybe I should just start. You know what? Same thing as last time. If they have a really big spell for next turn. Wow. Okay. Oh. I can only submit 1, but then I can play 1 for turn. Alright, so now that's a 4/4. So now I have 4/3 and a 4/4. I still have 4 mana, but I can't actually... I already played out my Professor, so I can't play one of the other things. So I'm just going to send in again. I think I want to be on the aggressive side in this game, but maybe that was kind of just like a bad path from the beginning. But now I'm definitely hitting them for quite a bit of damage. And they're probably going to be relying on playing like 2 4/4s this turn, and I have Counterspell for that. So I think this is going to go well for me. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they have access to 7 mana here, which really is the important number for a blue-red deck. But there's plenty of things that they could be doing here. I would rather than play a big creature, like maybe the Return Pass Caller, so that I could just counter that, take their whole turn, and they don't get a counter on the Pledge Mage. But them getting a counter on the Pledge Mage isn't such a big deal. It's probably just going to trade off for my colony next turn. I'm a little surprised they didn't trade off here. Going down to 8 life is pretty risky against a blue-red deck, or a blue-green deck that can have access to like Ether Helix and... Okay, so they're not doing anything. So I've got 8 mana, so I can't do Counterspell and Dragon's Guard Elite and Witherbloom Pledge Mage, so I'm just going to go to combat here. Fully expecting them to play... Oh! I was fully expecting them to play a Snow Day or something, but I'm just going to attack into this, and we'll see what they've got here. Could have attacked with the Pests as well. Probably would have been a good move, but we'll see what they've got. They're very indecisive on which one of these they want to block. Okay, that's fine with me. They clearly have something going on. I could have played the Witherbloom Pledge Mage pre-combat for the life, but I don't think that that's worth it. Alright. There we go. Got the Creative Outburst. Those trade, and they just concede. Okay. I figured that they were relying on their 7-drop spells. So that's why I was pretty happy with that situation. Okay, so they're playing blue, red, splash, white. So it's not like Ether Helix is particularly good. They might be playing like Serpentine Curve, so it might be good in that instance. I think Mentor's Guidance is probably pretty good in this matchup. And maybe I can take out some sort of defensive card. I don't have any of the... Oh, I do have a Biomathematician. I can take that out. I do wish I had a little bit more late game. Okay, so Tangle Trap against blue, red, white is probably gonna be good. I definitely saw them play a Frost Trickster. So yeah, I'll bring that in. And maybe find some sort of medium-ish card that I can cut. My deck is pretty well suited to win this. Potentially an Ether Helix. I mean, I like Ether Helix in that it helps me grind out late games by getting back some of my better creatures, but it's also not going to be guaranteed that I can play it on turn 5, so I don't love that aspect of it. I like that I have Negate and Counterspell both in against this matchup. Alright, I think this is good enough to roll with. It is possible that this deck wanted to be playing 18 lands. Okay. This is a good hand. I'm on the draw, so good chance to draw land by turn 3. And I've got the Colony, I've got Negate and Tangle Trap, and I also have Mage Duel, so I can really... I mean, who knows when I'll be able to play Mage Duel plus another spell, but with 4 spells in hand, there's a good chance that I'll be able to double spell at some point. But yeah, with 2 Eureka Moments, this really should be an 18-lander. Okay, no reason not to roll out the Scurried Colony here. They could have, like, Reject, but most people don't play that. It's not very good. There's so many non-creature important spells that you have to get rid of in this format that you usually don't want to play it. Alright, so if I draw a land here, which I did, I think I'm just going to go ahead and... This is, yeah, it's just a squirrel. I'm just going to go ahead and Mage Duel here. I don't want to deal with a situation where I have to try and use Mage Duel when they have mana up, and that thing is going to be a big enough threat, plus I have no other plays this turn. My only other option would be to hold up, Negate, and Tangle Trap, and hope they either play a flyer or a non-creature spell, which there's a decent chance that they would, but there's no guarantee. And they played the flyer in the end, so got a little punished. I think I am just going to pass the turn here, playing Negate or Tangle Trap. If they don't play anything else, I'll just play Tangle Trap. But if they... Oh, okay. I was going to say if they play, like, Pop Quiz or something like that, and I would negate it. But I guess they wouldn't... They might do that to try and hit a land drop. So just playing this out to... That's fine. Just playing this out to not lose tempo and not fall too far behind. There's nothing particularly important about getting rid of a Frost Trickster. It's just but the reason why I brought Tangle Trap in was not so that I can hit a specific target. It was just so that I could use it as an instant speed removal. All right, so really hoping to hit a land drop here. If I miss on this turn, I probably will just play Mentor's Guidance for 1. It's kind of bad, but at least I'll be able to scry into or I'll have a decent shot of scrying into a land. All right, we hit the land. That's really nice. So I'm going to play that post-combat, I think. This is a Druid, so I will be able to copy Mentor's Guidance with it. And I think, I do want to get the Rhino out there on this turn. So the question is, do I want to attack into Frost Trickster? I think yes, because I think this makes it less likely that they'll have a good double block on Symmetris, and I don't have any combat tricks in my hand, and I don't really have too many in the deck. So I like this move here. They might have a heated debate for it, but... Either way, I'll still have Eureka Moment to start reloading. I can get up to Leyline Invocation at some point. Alright, that's pretty annoying here. I think I'm just going to Mentor's Guidance and leave up Negate. Make sure that I actually get this through. Do I really want Frost Trickster at this point in the game? No. But it's also fine. I'll keep it. I don't think I just want a forest. I will need lands, but I think I would rather try and draw into some action. Alright, it's unfortunate that I ended up with the counterspell, but it's okay. They have Test of Talents in the graveyard to recur if they really want to. Alright, so that opens up white mana for them. Okay. So I mean, I could play the... Yeah, actually, maybe I do play the Frost Trickster and get in. Play out the land first. Could also have just played Leyline Invocation, but if they have like another Negate or something like that, this is better. And this allows me to really start attacking immediately. And get in for quite a bit of damage here. And also not be shields down for next turn. They just hit their third color of mana, they hit their second blue, so there's a good chance that there's going to be something here that I want to counter. Or negate. It's too bad I don't have Eureka Moment up, but that's fine. Alright, do I want to counterspell the Pledge Mage? Yeah, I think so. Leaves them with only 3 red mana up, so they probably don't have a good play this turn. And that thing could get out of hand. Plus, I still have negate for like the 5 mana thing, or the 7 mana thing, I mean. Okay. So it's very possible that I should just be making a 7/7 here. My creatures don't really attack well, but I just love the fact that I have Eureka Moment plus negate. So, you know what? I'm just gonna go for it. They're out of blue mana right now. It sucks that I'm shields down and they know that I have the negate, but okay, so they just conceded. That's fine. Didn't even want to see their next draw step. They know they can't beat a 7/7, I guess. But whatever. That works for me. Definitely no complaints. Okay, so I think I want to make a couple small adjustments here. I'm going to grab the Biomathematician and Negate and replace them with Mentor's Guidance and another island. So I wanted to hit 18 lands here. But doing so makes me a little bit less powerful. But like Scurried Colony wants to get to a bunch of lands. This uses a lot of excess mana. The Eureka Moments are good draw spells. Pop Quiz is nice. I have the Fractal Summoning the sideboard. Leyline Invocation cares about lands. Aether Helix, you want to be able to play 2 spells. So I think there's a good enough reason to be playing 18 lands here. And I wanted a little bit more action when I'm doing so that's why I swapped in the Mentor's Guidance. But it's a little bit risky, makes my 3 drops a lot worse, but I think that's the right way to go. Maybe I'm biased because Mentor's Guidance was really good in the last game, where my opponent was a lot slower, but Biomathematician is a much better card at holding early, so we'll see. I still have the 2 Frost Tricksters that I can draw into for a turn 3 play, but yeah. Hopefully this will work out. I mean, round 1 was really easy. My opponent struggled on mana in the first game and just didn't really play anything big in the second game, and I had the counterspell for their Creative Outburst. Okay, opponent goes first. This is a great hand. I'll keep it. I don't really know what else to say on it, but I will keep it. Alright, so it kind of does matter the sequence that I play these lands a little bit. I want to... Ugh, that's devastating. Alright. I want to leave, if I can, leave an extra forest in my hand on turn 3, or on turn 4, so that I can play Eureka Moment and Mage Duel in the same turn. So I want to have an extra forest that I can just play the forest and then play the Mage Duel for 1. But that remains to be seen if that'll work out. I have to deal with this Conspiracy Theorist first. They might just want to cash it in for a card here. Yeah. And I'm hoping they don't have like Arcane Subtraction, but they also could have Infuriate or something like that. And they can just cast it for free. That could be their free card that they cast. Alright, so, I mean, what Conspiracy Theorist says is basically you can... Right. So, they can cast the Sudden Breakthrough this turn, and they drew 1 card. So, obviously I'm not going to block right into the Sudden Breakthrough and just have my creature die, but it means that they get to do it again next turn. And if they don't have another play this turn, then Sudden Breakthrough to get through 4 damage instead of 2 is really nice. Okay, so I am going to play the island. So now if I draw an island next turn, then I can play Eureka Moment plus Mage Duel. But the question is, do I just want to play Mage Duel here? I think the answer is yes. I have a lot of stuff going on. I don't want to just get completely snowballed by this conspiracy theorist. They took basically last turn off to draw a card. So it's pretty similar to if they had just played a card. Well, I was going to make like a really... I mean, whatever. It ended up being not so bad for me. They're +1 card, but I at least got to be up a little bit on tempo here. Okay. Probably just a Professor of Zoomancy turn. So I'm going to charge in there. Maybe they'll want to trade. Probably not. And then next turn, if I draw a land, then there's a decent chance that I can Eureka Moment into Counterspell. If I don't draw a land, then I'll just Eureka Moment hoping to hit a land drop. And I'll probably hold up Counterspell and then play Eureka Moment on it instead. If they don't have anything worth countering. Alright, that's pretty bad for me. Not only does that get them net them another card, but now their Storm can kill an artist is hitting me for quite a bit of damage. I don't think it's worth chump blocking it, but it's definitely in the consideration. And makes the Scurrid Colony attack look a lot worse. I think that, I mean, it's tough because I want to say that I can play a longer game here. Whew. This is rough. Like, how badly do I risk? I want to say that I can win a longer game here, but I'm not sure that I can. But since my hand is so full of gas, two draw twos and a Leyline Invocation, I'm going to hold back here. If they just play the Elemental Summoning, I will play the Eureka Moment to try and hit an island. If I don't hit the island, then I don't counter the Elemental Summoning, and that's fine. But I think it's worth doing. Let's see. Right now it's tapping all of my blue. So unfortunately I need to do it this way. Did not hit the island, which is unfortunate, but it's also okay. Okay. I need to play something to stop this, I think. As is, this hand isn't going to cut it. It's pretty annoying that I can't do something like Eureka Moment plus Mage Duel. Like, that doesn't really do anything on this board. I could trade off the Pest for the Artist, but I don't like doing that. They'd still have 3 treasures. They could have Arcane Subtraction, and I'm in big trouble. I think I'm just going to go ahead and go Shields down here and drop the Pledge Mage. Reason being, I can start gaining some life, and next turn, if I do draw another land, then I can go Leyline Invocation, Mage Duel, and then that'll get me really far ahead. On the contrary, I could have just played the Leyline Invocation for 6 here, even stopped like the Stormkiln Artist, and then next turn held up Counterspell and Witherbloom Pledge Mage if I draw that land. So same condition either way. What's better? 6/6 right now and 5/5 plus Counterspell, or they are getting so much value off this Stormkiln Artist. 6/6 right now and next turn Witherbloom Pledge Mage plus Counterspell, or 5/5 right now and Leyline Invocation plus Mage Duel next turn. I think Leyline Invocation plus Mage Duel is a little better. It's not like I was countering Mentor's Guidance. There could have been plenty of stuff that I countered, but by the way, it looks like they're almost tapped down and it's not going to be that big of a deal, but they have 7 mana right now. So they could easily Heated Debate my Scurrid Colony and still have a 6/2 here. I would probably just chump block the 6/2, or they could just play Elemental Masterpiece and get a lot of Blood Force. Okay, so I did end up hitting the land, which means that I get to have some fun here. mage duel. I think I want to kill a 4/4. And I don't really see much benefit to attacking here. I mean, they've got 6 cards in hand, so some of them for sure could be lands, because, well, I guess they did scry both of their draws, so they probably don't have any lands in hand, now that I think about it. What did they get with, oh, they got Elemental Summoning with Igneous Inspiration. Okay. Well, now I've got a Mentor's Guidance of my own, which is nice. I only have 1 blue source, or 2 blue sources, so Counterspell is probably not going to happen anyway. So I think I'm going to go ahead and Mentor's Guidance here. This is a Warlock, so yeah, I get to counter that. Or I get to double it. Alright, I definitely don't want a forest. If it was an island, I would consider keeping it here. Thorn Drake, sure. Yeah, I'm going to keep the island here. It opens up Counterspell, it pumps up my colony, and still allows me to do Eureka Moment, but okay, so the question is, do I want to make a bigger attack here? I don't think so. I can also just send in the Fractal, but it just loses to the 4/4, so I'm going to pass the turn. And if they have something really big here and a massive play, then I can counterspell it, and if not, and I still have Eureka Moment to keep my mana going, keep the wheels on the bus. But yeah, I mean, they have Scurried Colony into, or like they can't attack Maelstrom Muse into Scurried Colony. I mean, they can, but all it would do would give them a 2 mana discount on their next spell. They might want to do that and try and play like a Creative Outburst on Scurried Colony, but that's where Counterspell is going to really get them. And in this case, I'm not going to risk doing Eureka Moment into Counterspell. Okay. So it looks like they're going to go for it. And it's heated debate, so I don't really have... I mean, I guess I'll draw. I don't think there's anything that I can draw into, though, so I'm not going to draw. Okay, that's the one card that they could have had there. That's pretty annoying, but that's fine. They got a little bit of a discount. They got in 2 damage. Other than that, it wasn't. They didn't really accomplish that much. Pledge Mage is doing some good work, gaining me a lot of life. Yeah, I mean, they have Elemental Masterpiece, so I think I just have to counter this. They might have Negate. I don't know. They've had a lot of card in hands for a while. They definitely did some filtering through their deck. They know that this is a matchup where Negate would be good. Alright. Wasn't the best counterspell target, but works out just fine here. Alright, I'm going to start off with Eureka Moment here. See if I can draw into some action. I still have plenty of mana for this turn. Okay. Now I feel very silly that I kept the other land. Although I did need it to hit, to counterspell that thing. Alright. But now I am officially out of gas. And the real problem is that my deck doesn't have Bookworm. Like, that's really what I needed. I just needed 1 Bookworm at the top so that I can grind out a game like this, but 2 4/4s is really hard for me to actually get through. I mean, I could draw into Ether Helix. That would be a really nice one. Get back, like, the Professor or the Scurried Colony or something. Okay, so they're still on 3 cards, and I do believe they're all 3 of them are spells. I don't think that they have any extra lands, unless they've really been stockpiling excess lands in their hand. They haven't played out too many recently, and they just played 1 out, so I don't think that they do have a lot of Okay, so they're going for a divide by 0 there. It probably is just that, yeah, that they wanted to find a learn spell from their sideboard so they can take out the Needlethorn Drake here, which is really good for them. Plus, Stormkill Nardus has gotten gigantic again, so if they attack with it, it's really hard for me to just block with the Fractal and hope they don't have another instant speed spell to trade those two off. If they have like a Pop Quiz or something like that, they could just trade it off. Oh, actually, they would have to have a 1 red mana. Or like a Heated Debate or something like that. Which would probably be fine with me. Because if they only have access to 1 red mana, if they use any of their treasures, then the Stormkill Nardus gets weaker. Oh, but they do have the discount for Maelstrom use, so I guess they didn't want to risk. Oh, Start from Scratch is a sorcery. Wow. Just when I thought they were out of gas, go for a Practical Research. I think that I might have to side into red for game 2 here. I'm not going to be pressured early on. My opponent didn't play anything like particularly aggressive. This is a particularly aggressive card, but it's really just a value card in this deck. And they're really, really slow. So I think that siding into red is going to be my best option here. I mean, I guess I just grab Fractal Summoning here. And go for it next turn. I think I'm going to attack. Probably just trading off here, but trading off for one of their 4/4s. But with the 5/5 in hand and with the opportunity to make a really big creature next turn, I think this makes sense. It's not great. Actually, yeah, they just get to attack with the Stormkill. Yeah, that was a bad attack. But there's a good chance that, I mean, I'm probably just going to chump if they do go for an attack here. I was thinking that my 5/5 does the same job as the 7/7 in blocking here, but it really doesn't with Stormkill. Maelstrom Muse has now officially done a ton of work here for them. Alright, so they've got a removal spell or a combat trick. But I think I still have to just block like that. I can't just take 11 here, go down to, like, if they have a combat trick, they're probably going to kill me anyway. I mean, I could just chump the Stormkill, I suppose. But this is actually not, I mean, it's not good for me, but Enthusiastic Study was gonna get in for a lot of damage anyway. And it still trades off. It's not like that was just a complete eating of my creature. Okay, so they're going to get to drop the 4/4 and probably play another card if they really want to. Let's see, is Plummet thing worth bringing in? Okay, there's a Spectacle Mage that I guess they discarded. So Spectacle Mage and Maelstrom Muse makes 2 targets. They're probably going to have another flyer somewhere. So I think that it's going to be worth bringing in the Plummet. Tangle Trap. Okay. Honestly, like, I could make a bajillion, but I think I just go ahead and see. I'm gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4. It's still gonna be a 7/7, so I'm just gonna tap down the Maelstrom Muse here and make a 5/9, make a 7/7. And hope they don't have any removal or counter spells. Not really sure what they could have that would be okay for me. Okay, so they've got a negate. That's fine. They're down to 2 cards in hand. I'll be able to trade off my Frost Trickster for the Stormkill Nardus. I'm glad that I didn't tap out for the Fractal Summoning then. I mean, they're probably not even going to attack with the Stormkill Nardus. Obviously, if they have removal, it's game, but yeah, they're just going to send in the 4/4. And it's not like I have big top end again that I can really use to just... Oh, actually, okay. Second Maelstrom Muse definitely makes me think that I should be bringing in the Tangle Trap here. Okay, so they do have Prismari Apprentice, so they can definitely turn the corner pretty quickly, which is a little bit scary, but I still think that... Well, I definitely want... I mean, I'm going to say I definitely want this about a lot of cards here. They do have elemental summoning, so Ether Helix is not bad. I don't really want to just get rid of that. Okay, so in terms of just like cheap cards that don't do much, I don't really have any here. I mean, I could take out the Frost Tricksters, but I don't think I want to do that. I think I still want to try and curve out. In fact, I might not want to be playing the long game against this deck, because even if I do bring in Masterpiece, Practical Research, Rutha, I'm not sure that my long game is going to be better than theirs. It's a tough choice here. I think that I just don't want to make my deck less consistent. Oh, I wanted to bring in the Tangle Trap either way. I think I just don't want to make my deck less consistent for a matchup like this. I might even just drop a... Actually, yeah, I might just drop a Eureka Moment. I think I just want to try and curve out and beat them that way, as opposed to trying to go the slow route. I mean, I could also bring in Pillar Drop Warden, Practical Research, Elemental Masterpiece, and Rutha, and then really, I would have a good chance of just winning the long game against their deck. Maybe take out, like, I don't know, Professors, or, like, I don't know. But I think that I just want to, yeah, I think I just want to beat them down. All right, we'll try it. Definitely my opponent has a really strong deck. They've got a lot of late game powerful cards, but let's see how it goes. All right, this hand is not good at all for doing what I said, but I think I just have to keep it based on the fact that it's got 4 lands, 3 spells. I'll be able to play a 3-drop. I don't think that I'm really going to fall behind so far. It does make my game plan poor, but I think that's still fine. I'm just going to start with 2 islands here. I don't have a counter spell, but maybe they'll play around it. Maybe not. Okay. Conspiracy Theorist is going to get online. It's annoying, but there's nothing I can do about it, so I'll just let it happen and play a pop quiz on end step. Probably going for Fractal Summoning. I mean, I don't really have a great option here. They might think I have Burying Books and not attack. I don't have Burying Books. I don't. Whew, okay. Conspiracy Theorist on turn 2 each game is kind of annoying, but that's how it goes sometimes. Alright, so they discard Prismari Apprentice, and if they have an island, then they can just cast the Prismari Apprentice, which kind of sucks. Yeah. This is a good start. They don't fall behind on board. They still get to get in for damage and draw a card. Yeah, I think I'm just going to grab Intro to Annihilation. Not planning on casting it right away, but just having access to it will be nice. And I have to fade like a Heated Debate here. If they just Heated Debate me, hit me for 4... I mean, they wouldn't use the Conspiracy Theorist. I guess they could just loot with... Oh, wait. They could use the Conspiracy Theorist to discard the Heated Debate if they have a land. That would just be absolutely brutal. But even if they do that, I still have Ether Helix to bounce the Theorist and return my Symmetrist. So I'm down on life, and down on cards because Conspiracy Theorist would have drawn them 2 cards, but it's not like I'm so far behind in the game. Alright, so what do you have? +2/+0 in first strike. Heated Debate doesn't work anymore because they didn't play a land pre-combat. It's just a Prismari Apprentice. So they still could have +2/+0 in first strike. But I'm going to block anyway. I can't not block. I mean, I could have not blocked. That was an option that was available to me. But with a decent follow-up for next turn, I think that it made more sense to go this route. There's so many cards in hand, but I have a lot of spells in hand, so it's not like I'm that far behind. Next turn, I can Symmetrist or Professor with Negate backup. Use. That is not good. Alright, I will go for the Symmetrist, because it has Reach. Stand up strong, Rhino. Alright, friend, what do you have for me? Sudden Breakthrough. I mean, I knew they had it. I didn't have to block. But I think that was the right move. Okay. Alright, so that's kind of annoying because the Prismari Apprentice still gets to hit me for 3. But at least I don't get completely annihilated here. Yeah, I'm just gonna go Elite and Professor. And shift the turn. So, working on stabilizing here. If my opponent has another removal spell for Symmetrist, then I'm in pretty big trouble. I also have to decide which one of these two I need to intro to Annihilation. I don't even know which one would be better to kill at this point. Probably, it's really tough to say. I mean, look, if they have Creative Outburst here, they could just attack with the Maelstrom use and play Creative Outburst. That would be amazing. That would be pretty unbeatable for me. They could even Explosive Welcome. That would also be unbeatable. They have a lot of unbeatable options, in case you didn't realize. But they also could just have junk. I mean, they had some filler cards in their deck. It seems like my choice is made up. I gotta just get rid of the Prismari Apprentice. It's just gonna kill me in like a turn. It's too bad I don't have my Witherbloom Pledge Mage on the board. I could really use a little bit of life gain going on here. But I'll be able to get in for... no, I'll only be able to get in for 4, because I don't want the Maelstrom Muse to attack me back. Unless I really do just put them on having a removal spell for my Master Symmetrist. Yeah. Okay, I think I just have to turn all my creatures sideways here. They're going to have removal spell for that anyway, so holding back with it doesn't really accomplish anything. I can hit them for 9 here, but then if they attack, I mean, there's plenty that they can do with big spells, but I think that was really my only way to win this game. Playing just random doofuses that don't actually block flyers or remove their creatures or anything just isn't going to be particularly helpful. They also might be scared of blocking the Dragon's Guard Elite and just block the 1/1. And then I get in for 11 damage, and maybe if I draw like a Mage Duel next turn or something. See, I've got 4, 5, 6 mana, so I can't play Professor and Mage Duel, but I mean, it's possible. Problem is that they're going to really get to ramp with this Maelstrom Muse. It's going to give them 2 extra mana, so they're going to be able to easily do 2 things this turn. Or they're just going to kill me with Mascot Inception. I had absolutely never thought that they would be playing that card in their deck. But they definitely did have a little bit of an aggressive slant, which I think is the way to play Prismari, where you want to just get on the board, control the board, but then turn the corner very quickly. So Mascot Deception is a really good card to do that. They knew that I was playing a bunch of 5/5s and 4/3s, so it was probably from the sideboard. It was just a really good play by the opponent. So if I didn't want to be so aggressive, it wouldn't really have been possible. I would have had the 1/1 back to just chump block. But I'm sure if I had just held back, and I mean I could have just attacked with the 4/3 there. But yeah, if I just held back, it wasn't going to be a winning game. They had 8 cards in hand, and I had three big doofuses that weren't really going to get me anywhere, I don't think. So that happens. But hopefully we'll be able to pull out the 2/1 here. We're playing the mirror matchup. I think it's Sarkin. Hey, we get to play first this time. All right, there's a mulligan. Whew, this is a mulligan too, but I'll keep it. The good thing is that I'm on the play, and if I'm playing against a more aggressive deck, I do have Frost Stricter into Professor of Zoomancy, so it's pretty unlikely that I'm just going to get curved out and lose, because I'll just have a lot of good blockers. Maybe they're going to mulligan too, who knows? Let's view the battlefield. Oh, they kept. Okay, I'm going to keep. Drop one of these 4s to the bottom. Plus, maybe I'll just draw like a dragon. What's the thing? Dragon's Guard Elite. Or not. It didn't matter that I didn't lead with Island there. It's not like I could have drawn Island, and had Counterspell up, because I only had 1 Island in hand. But I did draw Counterspell the next turn. Okay. I don't think that I want to just hold up Counterspell for their 3/3, for their 3-drop. But playing Frost Trickster on an empty board is kind of junky too. I'm just going to go ahead and do it anyway. If they don't have a 3-drop, then it just looks very, very silly. But the benefit of doing that is I'm going to play Professor of Zoomancy on turn 4, so this would have been a good opportunity to actually counter something. But they just have a tap land and no play, then this works out much better for me. All right, this is looking good. Gonna start playing some more dudes. And this could be a risky turn where they could hit a 4th land drop and actually play a bigger spell. But what in Witherbloom am I that scared of that they're going to play on turn 4? There's some stuff, but Holding Karak is not it. It's not the stuff here. I am going to send in the whole team here. There's a good chance they just trade off, but they decide not to. And reason being, if they have a removal spell for my other professor and get in for 3, it's not great for me. I would have rather held it back, but also if they're just burning their removal spell on my professor, then I'm not losing by that much after that. Plus, the next turn I can hit for 2 with the Pest and the Frost Trickster and leave the other professor back to block with Counterspell. So overall, I think it'll end up working out for me, even if they do have a Mage Hunter's Onslaught. It's worse if they have... No, I guess if they have a fight card, it's not worse, because they can't attack. So it's just gaining 4 life. I mean, they could attack and just bluff like a trick, but I would instantly bluff. I mean, I'm on team basically always call their bluff. Whoa. Yeah, I'm pretty much on team always call the bluff. So, I mean, it could be, if it's an eliminate, then that would really suck. So I'm just gonna block with the whole team to play around eliminate here. But I mean, if this whole plan was to just get my professor and these 2 pests off the board, that's fine. I could have waited. Okay, I was gonna say I could have waited a turn so I had Counterspell back up, but that was just too juicy of an opportunity. I mean, it just didn't really make... I don't know. Maybe that was a bad play because it just didn't make sense for them to play that way, but... And they got Pest Summoning in the main. Every once in a while, in traditional drafts, when you're not playing against a... when you're not playing a ranked match, you find opponents who... maybe they just don't end up getting there with their draft. Or they're newer players. And they end up doing things like main deck Pest Summoning, Essence Infusion on a creature that already had Trample. But not making fun of the opponent. The opponent probably is just newer to the game, but it's definitely makes it a little bit easier. That being said, this is still very much a game. My opponent has 4 cards in hand. They've got access to 4 mana this turn. That's going to be countered. But, I mean, other than the Pest Summoning main deck, this deck is fine. I mean, it's a pretty average looking Witherbloom deck. So, now I'm out of Counterspell backup. I just hit another land there. I'm really not in great shape. And meanwhile, their Pest Summoning gained them 10 life for 3 mana. Which just goes to show you how good Pest Summoning actually is, but they didn't want to burn the Pest yet. They could always do it next turn, so that was actually a pretty smart play. So I'm hoping they just play a goofy 3/3 or something like that I can just Mage Duel and get rid of. But we'll see. Oh. That stinks. Inquisition, drawing that late usually is pretty bad, but in this instance where I was just waiting for a target for Mage Duel, it was actually really good. Okay, so they still have 2 cards in hand. I'm still drawing lands. Play out the island that they saw anyway. And send in for 6. See if they have a big play or something like that. Not like a really strong action in the game, just like the card named Big Play, which would let them trade off their Pest for my Prop. Okay. 10 the Pest for a Pest is another way to gain some more life. But, okay, so now they drew Prof. And it's a game. We'll see if they attack with the Pest. If I had the Mage Duel, on the other hand. There we go. Finally hit some action here. Sure. I will send in both. I'm fine if they trade. It means that my Symmetrist gets to thrive. I'd rather the Symmetrist stay alive because it's going to be able to trample over their 1/1s. And give trample to my Witherbloom Pledge Mage if it makes it that far. So, that was a really good Eureka moment there. Okay, let's see. I think that there's anything that I really want for sideboarding. So they're down to 1 card in hand. I'm not really going to be playing around anything here. They haven't shown to have a trick at all this game. There's some amount of me that wants to play around to make sure that my Witherbloom Pledge Mage gets in with Trample, but I'm pretty sure that they're just on blanks. Question is, do I play around like one of the sweepers? I'll probably just hold the... I'll just hold the Needlethorn Drake in hand. I have a hard time believing they'll be able to win from here without the aid of a sweeper. Even if they get, like, Necrotic Fumes. I guess if they get Necrotic Fumes... Oh, they just discarded and drew. Alright, that should do it here. Right, because I'm attacking with 9, 11 damage, trample. They've got 3, 4, 5. I mean, I don't even need to. I can just attack with these guys. Alright, so we took game 1. Spectre of the Fens is the only flyer or artifact that we saw, so I don't think I'm going to be bringing Tangle Trap this game. But you can see how good Tangle Trap is in this format. It's good in most decks. I didn't see big stuff to counter, so I don't think I'm going to bring in Negate. And my opponent wasn't going too far over the top, so I don't really think I need to worry about siding into red. Didn't see big fractals or anything like that, so I don't know about Aether Helix being so great here. I don't think that there's that much to do. I could bring in like the assistant to get back some of my draw spells or mage duels if I need them. It's nice to have just like a flexible card. I think I'm going to do that and just drop an island here on the draw. I think it's fine to just be playing 17, even though I do think this deck is really an 18-land deck. Also, I never changed my profile guy. I don't know, is this just the default profile guy? I'm not really a big customizing my avatar person. I mean, this hand's not great, but it's got some action. Early action is always good. Okay, so now they got a plains. I don't know if they had that in the last game or if they just didn't draw it, or if they decided into a new color here. Let's see what they're going to do with Hunt for Specimens. Grab a Pest Summoning. Nope, they're discarding. Alright, they're discarding Containment Breach, which was in their main deck to draw a card. Yeah, for those of you who aren't familiar with the Lesson Learned concept, lesson cards like Containment Breach or Pest Summoning, like they played last game, can live in your sideboard, and then when you hit something like Hunt for Specimens that says Learn, you can just grab it from your sideboard. What my opponent's doing this in this match is just using Learn secondary ability, where you can just discard a card to draw a card, which you really are only supposed to use once you've run out of targets for your Lesson Learn. So it's a lot less powerful that way. So since Dragon's Guard Elite, I didn't even check, by the way, but I assume it was a... I think I am going to keep one land here because I do just want to hit a lot. I don't think I need the Emergent Sequence, though. I probably didn't do that right. Emergent Sequence is probably just better than a land here, because I could just play Emergent Sequence and Needlethorn Drake, and that's a great turn. Probably should have just bottomed the land, kept the Emergent Sequence, or drawn the Emergent Sequence, bottomed the other land. Alright, so since Mentor's Guidance copied, it was able to make 2 counters for my Dragon's Guard Elite, which allowed me to get in past the 2-1 and the 1-1. They are stuck on 2 lands here. I think I'm just going to go ahead and drop the Master Symmetrist. Probably should have just played it pre-combat. Trample is better than bluffing something, and I didn't really think they had anything. But, I don't know, is there anything that gives them like a cheap creature at instant speed? I don't know. Either way, they didn't draw their lands, and they were not able to come back there. So that one was definitely a bit of an easier win. In fact, both my wins I feel like didn't really showcase the power of my deck. My first opponent got a little stuck up on mana, and then my third opponent also got stuck up on mana in the last game. Didn't use the Lesson Learned interaction perfectly. So I ended up going 2-1 here. Less than ideal. With the traditional drafts, you actually really need to go 3-0 in order to even make your money back. You sort of double your entry fee if you go 3-0, and with 2-1 you get 2/3 of your entry fee back, plus 4 packs, which I don't really care about. I only play limited, so it's not really of interest to me. But either way, I've been having a lot of fun with the traditional drafts. Usually the power level of the opponent is strong, but every once in a while you do run into the lower skilled opponents, but I meant skill level. Did I say power level? Whatever. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye.